are wrapping up coverage from Commodity Classic 2024, and we are fired up to put a close on this one. We're talking markets, we're talking SDN, and we will find out what is in the pipeline to help with crop protection from BASF.
Live from the final lap around Houston via Farm Journal broadcast, this is AgriTalk. This afternoon, we'll begin with a conversation with Oliver Slope from Blue Line Futures. Then it's Tommy Grisafi from Advanced Trading. And later, Scott Kay from BASF. I'm handsome newsman Davis Michelson. Now, here's the host of AgriTalk, Chip Flory.
All right, Davis. Hey, buddy, we made it. We're here. We are at the final hour of AgriTalk at Commodity Classic. A big thank you to BASF for sponsoring AgriTalk here at Commodity Classic. www.basf.com to learn more about what's going on at BASF. All right. Hey, the volume of activity on the trade show floor, Davis, I'm telling you, it's slowing down a little bit. It's Friday afternoon at Commodity Classic, and it's becoming very evident that things are starting to slow down a little bit here. But what a week. What 2.5 days of really getting after it and really trying to gain a better understanding of what's going on in the industry and the new innovations that are going to be available to farmers that were on display on the trade show floor were absolutely amazing.
That's really cool. You mentioned in your opening monologue that you used the words "fired up." Is that you're going to stand by that? You fired up?
Yeah, I think so. What do you got?
No, that sounds about right, dude.
All right. Yeah,
I love it.
And rejuvenated. From the conversations that I've had with all kinds of people. It's like I mentioned this morning, we had the early riser session this morning, which will be part of U.S. Farm Report this weekend. And the conversations that we had there, really, really good conversations, the kind of conversations that need to happen so that we've all got a better understanding of what's going on and where the industry might be headed.
Yeah, that was you, Chip Nellinger, and Arlen Suderman on the panel. Do I remember that correctly? Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Heavy hitters, baby.
That's exactly right. Yeah. USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack was here. EPA Administrator Regan was here, and everything is, those guys were expected to make an announcement today that it really wasn't made. We were looking for some clarity on the GREET model, and it's like we talked about this morning. That announcement did not happen, and everybody's kind of left scratching their head a bit over what that means for corn's path to the sustainable aviation fuel marketplace. So we've got some work to do and some things to figure out as we go forward.
All right, well, we'll keep working.
All right.
How's that?
You bet. Let's go ahead and get to the markets. What do you got?
Well, Chip, HRW wheat dragged the rest of the wheat complex lower on the day. The spring reference price for spring wheat is $6.84. That's down 22.9% from a year ago. According to World Weather Inc., well above average temperatures in HRW country through Sunday will further warm soils and promote more crop development, which will be greatest in southern areas, though greening will occur farther to the north as well. May SRW today fell through more than one layer of support, with new support now at 557.25. July HRW wheat futures 18.75 lower today, 555.5. July SRW wheat down 18 cents, 561.25. July spring wheat closed at 648. That's down 14.75 cents, Chip.
What a way to wrap up the week in this wheat trade. Wheat has been on the defensive all week. It really hasn't wanted to participate in the move. But when you take a look at the changes on the week, we had the July SRW contract down 8.75 cents, July HRW down 2.5 cents, and the July spring wheat contract down just 4 cents this week, Davis. So all in all, kind of a steady week.
Yeah, I'm calling it could have been worse. In the corn futures, corn futures gave back a portion of this week's corrective gains despite supportive outside markets. The crop insurance pricing window closed yesterday with December corn futures averaging $4.66 during February, down 21.2% from last year. World Weather Inc. says worry over safrinha crops in Brazil continues. Although a boost in precipitation in the first of this month should stimulate good development, and planting will occur aggressively until rain begins to fall. May corn futures 4 3/4 lower today, 4.24 3/4. July corn down 5 cents to 4.36 1/4. December corn futures closed at 4.59 1/4. That's down 4 cents today.
I just had to do a quick check on that to make sure that we got the math right on the new crop change, because July corn this week down 1.5 pennies. D's corn up 9 3/4.
Yeah.
So look at that for some spread action. That's an aggressive move on that old new crop spread.
Absolutely. Well, soybeans were supported today by a rise in soybean meal futures. The spring crop insurance price for beans is $11.55. That's down 16.1% from last year. Expectations for favorable near-term weather in Argentina and northeastern Brazil kept a lid on the upside. Soybean oil attempted to pare losses and ended the session mid-range. Initial support for May beans lies at $11.39 1/4. Today, May beans were 10.5 cents higher, $11.51 1/4. July beans firmed a dime, $11.61 1/4. November beans closed at $11.45 1/2. That's up 6 3/4 today, Chip.
The soybean meal market is something that I think is the bean complex, and the bean market in particular, was really watching and looking for leadership from soybean meal this week. Felt like we had it going at midweek, and then towards the end of the week, it kind of faded on us. But I would suspect that soybean meal is going to be a focus of the markets again next week. Now, on the week, July soybean meal up a dime. July soybeans up a dime. November soybeans up 9.5 cents. July soybean oil up 56 points. And July soybean meal was up $2.60. The corn soybean price ratio slipped a little bit from last week and is at 2.48 to 1.
Looks like the cotton's got a little toppy, some corrective trade here. July cotton 355 points lower today, 94.22. Chip.
Cotton is a conversation point here at Commodity Classic. It's not that the commodity group is represented here, but it's just the impact of what that market is going to do on total acres. Cotton is the big reason that we are asking the question, can total corn and soybean acres get to 178.5 million in 2024? If we don't get there, it's because cotton's going to take 1 million acres or so. Yeah, we were down sharply today, but on the week, July cotton was up 115 points.
Well, Chip, technical-based buying supported cattle futures today. Wholesale beef prices firmed yesterday, and April futures pushed above the 20-day moving average, opening the door for follow-through buying next week. April fat cattle, $3.10 higher, Chip, 188.45. Wow. June futures firmed to 277 1/2 to 184 even, and April feeder futures gained 427 1/2 to 258 on the snout. And quickly, lean hog futures posted moderate gains after busting through technical resistance. April hogs $1.45 higher today, 88.07 1/2. The June contract firmed $1.85, 102.05. Chip.
All right, April live cattle on the week up 55 cents. Not much compared to the way that the market traded today.
Yeah.
And April feeder cattle, a huge move today, and still ended the week down $1.97.5. And April lean hogs on the week up 87.5 cents. All right, we are live at BASF at Commodity Classic. Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures, talking markets next.
I don't know what you're thinking. So call us at 855-4TALK-AG and tell us what's on your mind.
Welcome back to AgriTalk at Commodity Classic. Big thank you to BASF for sponsoring this afternoon show down here in Houston. We're going to get to a conversation with Oliver Slope from Blue Line Futures here in just a moment. But first, let's make time for this industry spotlight. Jeff Mueller, BASF seed agronomist, joins us right now. Jeff, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Chip, yourself?
Doing real fine, real fine. So every year there is a silent killer of bushels out there when we talk about this bean crop, and it's SCN, soybean cyst nematode. resistance is still the number one priority in battling SCN, isn't it?
Correct. Yes.
Yep. So what's in the pipeline from BASF that we can be looking forward to for some crop protection?
So coming down in the pipeline here towards the end of the decade, 2028, 29, we're going to be looking at the new BT cyst nematode control, BT control in soybeans. It's going to be the first one in the industry for cyst nematode control in soybeans. It's exciting because it gives us another tool as to provide for the farmers to help protect against that silent yielding pest that we have out there. And if you think about a lot of what we do right now, it's native traits, selecting varieties that have native traits that can have resistance in that PI888 and PI88788 and P-King. This is going to allow this another tool that we can bring in to help provide that farmer more protection from that silent yield killer and provide more return on investment for the farmer in the future going forward.
How big of a problem is SCN? How widespread is it?
It's a lot more widespread and it's a lot bigger than we realize.
Yeah.
Every year it's roughly, they say about $1.3 to $1.5 billion a year is what we lose in dollars from yield from the cyst nematode pest. It's in a lot more fields than we realize, and we're always encouraging everyone to go out and do sampling in their fields, especially if you're seeing areas, your lower spots, you're seeing some smaller yellow or beans, kind of circular pattern down through there. Do some testing and see what you have out there, because more than likely you're probably going to find cyst nematode in some of those situations.
Right, absolutely. Okay, seed selection and variety selection is very important, but there's also some seed treatments that we can put to work out there in the field, right?
Oh, absolutely. BASF has, in my opinion, the top one out there. It's a levo seed treatment. Yeah. And when you're using the higher rate of a levo seed treatment, you're going to get not only the cyst nematode, help with the cyst nematode, but you also get help with sudden death syndrome. And really those two kind of 70% of the acres, they have, if it has one, it has the other. So you need to have that dual combination of control against those to really help minimize that damage that can occur from there and bringing you the best opportunity for maximizing yield in those fields.
All right. Give us the timeline again on that SCN trait.
Towards the end of the decade, 28, 29, pending approvals. And that's, we're getting excited. We're getting ramped up, and it's going to be a great day when that comes and we can get her out there and help that farmer another tool.
That's right. It'll be big news. No doubt about it. Jeff, good stuff. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Chip. Have a great day.
That's Jeff Mueller, the BASF seed agronomist. All right, let's bring him in. We've got Oliver Slope from Blue Line Futures. How you doing, Oliver?
Oh man, Chip, I'm doing great. It's been a great week. We left Monday morning, 2:30, shot straight down. Great to meet a lot of people from all over the country this week and step away from the screens. I don't get away from the screens enough, so it was nice to step away from the market, see all the cool booth setups, all the awesome equipment, and shake some hands and meet some people face to face.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but was this your first Commodity Classic?
Yeah, this was our first show, and I tell you what, it will not be our last. We will be back. We had an awesome time, so hopefully be making it not just on the road more often to the Commodity Classic, but other shows throughout the year as well. We've got some branch offices in Nebraska and Kansas and Iowa and South Dakota, so I'm sure we'll be going to some of those shows as well.
Yeah, cool. Okay. What'd you make of the markets this week? When I take a look at these weekly changes and I get to the soy complex, July beans gained a dime this week. November beans up 9.5 cents. That wasn't a terrible week.
Not bad, and not a bad way to end the week. And we talked about beans yesterday being the dog, but today they came roaring back. So that is certainly encouraging. I think they still have some work to do. One of the biggest questions this week I heard from folks stopping by the booth was, where's low for the grain markets?
Right.
And, that's a tough question. And, I've been in this industry long enough where I've learned that the only thing I know for certain is that I don't know. And I've come to really respect the fact that there's incredibly smart people on both sides of the market, pretty much every market all the time. And, we all have a bias with varying degrees of conviction, whether it be bullish, bearish, neutral, somewhere in between. At the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is how we manage those positions, whether that be in the futures market or cash market.
Yeah. Now, so talk to me about the questions that you were getting. Okay, a lot of it is about, have we put a low into the corn market? But are these questions regarding 23 crop, or are they talking mostly about the new crop, Oliver?
It's both. It's both, and I think I've heard a lot of stories about the producer being undersold, and I think everyone probably knows that as well. And when we're looking at old crop and trying to game plan for that for folks that weren't as proactive as they maybe wish they would have been, we can't ignore the fact that we've got a new crop contract to look at as well. So I try to keep that in mind. I think corn can get a little bit of relief here. We had a setback today, but we had a nice 3-4 day rally going that amounted to about 25 cents, that May contract. And really just kind of stalled out near that 430 level, which was support for a brief moment of time about 2 weeks ago and was the eventual breakdown point. I think if we can get out above 430, that could potentially spur a little bit of short covering, maybe go back towards 445, 450. But I think that's going to be an incredibly tall hurdle to jump over, all things considered, at this time. Seasonally, we can kind of chop around here from the beginning of March to the end of April. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some consolidation, maybe get some premium back into the market on the new crop contract, as well as we inch closer to that big report here at the end of the month.
Yeah. It's March. It's hard to believe it, but here we are. It's March 1, and the end of this month, we got the prospective plantings report coming our way and the quarterly grain stocks report. Oliver,
Yes, sir.
The grain stocks reports they've got a history of creating some volatility in the grains and in the corn market in particular. And when I look at some of the issues that are happening out there across the country right now, I got to believe that this is going to be one of those reports at the end of the month that's going to generate that volatility.
Absolutely. And we've seen the CVOL pick up, the CME Group CVOL index. It measures the volatility of pretty much every futures market out there for corn and beans. Volatility is creeping up towards, I think 6-month highs. It's still relatively low, but seasonally, this is the time where we do see the volatility start to rise into that quarterly stocks report and beyond, as well as, we try to figure out what's going in the ground and how the weather is going to impact that. So the volatility, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's only going to pick up from here. And it's going to be an interesting year, just like every year. It looks really bleak right now, but things change quickly. I don't know what the catalyst would be to turn it around right here, right now. But like I said before, the only thing is that you don't know, and things can change quickly.
Yep. I know that we're a commodity classic. We're talking about cattle, or we're talking about corn. We're talking about soybeans, wheat. But every cattleman out there would kill me if I'd let you get away without getting your thoughts on what's going on in this trade, Oliver. So I'm going to ask you, what's your thoughts?
Well, I went to dinner with some clients last night in the cattle industry, and it seems to be a tug of war. Half of them are bullish, half of them are bearish up here. Regardless, even if they're bullish, I think you've got to take action, at these levels. Talking about how fast things can change. We saw what happened at the end of last year when we saw that April contract just come a few ticks shy of that 200 marker, and then just a few months later we were trading down at 165. Well, here we are back at 188 and change. I think this is an opportunity to protect the downside. If you have that exposure and have that risk, ultimately, I think these cattle markets can continue to work higher, particularly the live cattle markets. Yeah. But again, it's about managing that risk. I think my concern with the feeders, despite today's good rally, is the potential that corn does see some relief here, and I think that would be a headwind for the feeder market. Yeah.
The one thing that, and hey, I'm not going to cry for the Packers losing money in here. That's not in my blood. But at the same time, you got to respect what's happening for the Packers out there, and the fact that they are losing money might make it a little difficult to get a rally in the cash.
Yeah, absolutely. The cash market hasn't really done a whole lot here recently, and I think that's probably one of the bigger concerns that the clients I had meeting with last night was the fact that we're not going anywhere, and if they aren't making money, well, maybe they just won't kill anything. So that's always a risk as well.
Yeah, they've got lots of flexibility in the numbers going through right now, just because we're running below capacity. So they can kind of do what they want to with the numbers for a little bit. Oliver, great to see you this week. Great to talk with you. You travel safe, buddy.
Thanks, Chip. Take care.
You bet. That's Oliver Slope of Blue Line Futures. All right, we are going to continue a conversation that we started last week. We got Tommy Grisafi coming up at the BASF booth at Commodity Classic.
Let's go to the markets page at profarmer.com and check today's closes. Where July HRW wheat futures were 18 3/4 cents lower at 5.55 1/2. July SRW down 18 cents, 5.61 1/4. May corn futures were 4 3/4 lower at 4.24 3/4. December corn futures closed at 4.59 1/4. That's down 4 cents today. May soybean futures were 10 1/2 cents higher, 11.51 1/4. July beans firmed a dime, 11.61 1/4. July cotton 355 points lower today, 94.22. On your livestocks, April live cattle $3.10 higher, 188.45. April feeders up $4.27 1/2 cents to 258 even. And April lean hog futures $1.45 higher at 88.07 1/2. Go to tryprofarmer.com, won't you? Opinions expressed on AgriTalk do not necessarily reflect the views of Farm Journal Broadcasting, affiliate stations, or sponsors. Our name says it all. AgriTalk. What more do you need to know?
All right, I'm excited about this. Welcome back to AgriTalk. We are at the BASF booth at Commodity Classic down in Houston. Big thanks to BASF. Check it out. www.basf.com. I'm excited about this conversation because we started it last Friday. We started it a week ago today. It's Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading, Egg Bull Media, and it's really cool to have Tommy sitting right next to me. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Chip. Last week, I lost power and kept going. Well,
that's right.
I left our office because we're doing a fire drill to go to an office that lost power, but we have the whole crew down here and really good show. Unfortunately, I went to bed early last night. Looks like that was a mistake because the energy's calming down a little bit.
Yeah, not for you. You're looking a little wound up yet.
No, I'm all cranked up on Diet Coke here. So we got Big Apple Joe spinning records behind us.
Yeah.
We got coworkers from Advanced Trading. And overall, the mood of the farmer is still very positive. This is different. Dave Fogel and I talked before we came down here, and we thought there would be like a different sense, more of a panic. And it's a calm, I made a mistake, but no one's yelling at me. It's like getting a bad grade in college, but you're paying for your college, so your parents can't yell at you because they're all grown adults, right? Like I told my folks in the speech yesterday, listen, I know things look like they're bad, but farmland in Northwest Iowa just traded 29.5. Call Willie Nelson and let's cancel the Farm Aid concert. We're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And things are good, kind of.
Kind of. See, that's the big reason that I wanted to do it the way that we've done it here. Have you on last week, get your impressions on the markets and just general attitudes before Commodity Classic, get you down here, get you in front of the people, get you answering questions. Has your attitude changed in just a week about what's going on in the markets? And in ag.
Yeah. So I was scared last week when you said, we'll check up with you in a week. I'm like, oh, no. Usually we do this every quarter. But the fundamentals are the same. We're seeing some things I learned a little bit ago that Ukrainian corn is still more affordable to China than ours.
Yeah.
On a positive note, I had some people come to the booth who were interested in maybe doing something last year, and they just got busy, whether it be a personal reason, planting a crop. They said, can you call us on Monday? I said, how much did it cost you by who knows where we had them sold or protected? But just from what you did, not selling it, how much did it cost you? They said, conservatively, this farmer from New York said it cost me $500,000 for being misbehaving. I said, but you're not going broke. He's like, no, I don't have an operating note.
How does that happen? The last 2 years were pretty doggone good.
They were. So the way I look at it, Chip, and you and I, a couple guys who like to eat a little bit once in a while, they ate horrible food. They were going out and ordering 3 Big Macs and having shakes, and they got in better shape. That's how good it was the last 3 years. They lost their discipline. They ate poorly, and they looked great. And those sins are being... The market gave people too much money too fast. It's taking it back, and it's taking it back in 2 ways. It's taking it back from the interest rate, which I don't know if you know, there was a little news that came out from the Fed. Someone was yapping and bapping. NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow Jones all exploding. Gold's up 40. We're seeing some major moves on the outside markets just due to a Fed comment, maybe in suggesting that there'll be another type of quantitative easing. So we have an election year coming, and these interest rates are not going away. That's hurting the farmer more than they do realize it, but that's on their mind. Then you combine that with low prices.
They may realize that it's hurting them, but how many of them have done the math?
They're starting to do it because February we go through crop insurance and we go through renewing.
Yep. That's a good point. Fair point.
Right. So yesterday was Leap Day. Happy birthday if you had a birthday every 4 years.
John Kleist, if you're listening, John
really?
Kleist, yep.
Oh, happy birthday. I don't have to wish him birthday for 4 more years. So we can talk intelligently about crop insurance. The one thing I do know from standing at the booth is they all had reasons on why they didn't sell anything. But then I asked them, I understand that. I understand you're in North Dakota. I have an office in Bettendorf, Iowa. Mm-hmm. You live in Iowa. It's extremely hot. It was really hot. I'm surprised we produced any beans in August, let alone the one we did. So everyone goes through the year knowing all the reasons why they didn't do something. But my question to them was, once you had the bushel, I know what you didn't have. You're in North Dakota. You're not going to grow anything. Holy moly, we grow a record crop. Once you have the bushel and crop insurance expires on October 31st, as you say on your show, what were you thinking? Isn't that one of your intros?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And no excuses like the North Dakota folks. They're not that upset because the bushels are there.
Yeah.
So they had 25% better bushels. If they sell at 25% lower price, which is actually happening, they're okay with that. Not happy, but they're okay. We are in the bushel business. You're in the bushel business. If the bushels show up, we're okay.
Interesting. What's going to be the focus of these markets as we make our way into the final month of the first quarter and start thinking about spring planting and so on? Where's the focus?
We're going to talk a little bit to clients about old crop, try to wrap that up, get that under control. Some people are going to, I hate to say the word gamble, but they're going to gamble with those bushels. What they have left, they're like, it's went down this much. I talked to something we can't hedge. I talked to a young farmer out of North Dakota. He said he killed it in sunflowers during the Ukraine war. And sunflowers typically trade like, say, 20, 21, 22. They went up to 45. Killed it. Made more money he ever made. Grew sunflowers last year. Assume he had a cost production of 25. Sunflowers are worth 15 per 100. He says he's going to build another bin and store it. And so they have the money to build a bin, store something. All the products that shot us up from the Ukraine war, we planted the canola, the sunflower. So we're coming down. So the conversation will be, listen, we went through one of the greatest periods ever. We're trying to set a realistic expectation of what a rally is and how do we reward it? Is it through a cash sale? Is it through a put? Do we go to short-term options? We're using a lot more short-term options. And as you know, a month ago, options were the cheapest they were in years. And then we hit a 1 month high in option volatility. And I think this week, y'all were at 3-4 month high in option volatility, even at these low prices. So people are buying and selling insurance at the Board of Trade using these puts and calls. And the cost is a little higher than it was 4 months or just a month ago.
Yeah. Okay. What's got you excited?
Well, my talk was about AI.
Yep. That's where I want to go.
Okay. I didn't know a lot about it. First quote that I watched videos. I spend a lot of time on YouTube right now. And the gentleman said, AI will be bigger to the world than electricity was. And I'm like, what? Is this guy high? And so I listened to him again and watched some other people. He's saying it's that revolutionary. So when you take AI in agriculture, obviously I knew what NVIDIA was several years ago because, I buy those nice computers to trade.
Yep.
And I know I have NVIDIA video monitors in. This computer probably has a video card. But NVIDIA stock went up 500.
Oh, yeah. It's
in
been
the
the
last
craziest thing.
Yeah. I'm like, so I did a lot of research about AI. I'm 100% confident to this whole group between the great technology coming out from our good friends at BASF and AI, we're going to produce more bushels. And the American farmer, I feel, went backwards in their marketing because they're pretending like they're not good at production agriculture. Not only are they good, but they're great. I'm excited about that.
Cool. I've been asking the question about AI when we talk about some of the marketing plans, some of the marketing structures and strategies that are out there. Does AI come in and all of a sudden kind of start just offering marketing solutions?
Well, let's take someone who our good friend Craig Van Dyke in Valparaiso, Indiana, Co-Alliance, right?
Yeah.
So Craig's at Co-Alliance. we could have all the AI technology in the world, but if Chip Flory is a farmer and he needs to sell 100,000 bushels of grain, he has to pick up the phone, call one of the greatest elevators in America, and make that phone call. AI doesn't. Well, it does robo-dial. Remember the robo-dialing where they were pretending to be the president? Yeah. So it gets a little weird, but now we went politics. But anyway, AI can't. You know what AI is? It's like the best thing ever. AI is like a treadmill. And if you and I don't get on the treadmill, we don't get in better shape. So a lot of us own treadmills and we're not getting in better shape. AI is the ultimate treadmill. But what AI is going to do, in my opinion, is that I understood AI from facial recognition from in China. Anyone walking anywhere is being AI'd at all times.
Right.
That's how they know you went out to buy a pack of smokes or something. But in America, look at AI is that drones will be flying over your crops and they will be telling you have a problem spot in a field that it would take you a long time to even walk to that field.
Yeah.
And so these drones are going to fly over your crop and say, you need attention over here.
Yep.
You have nitrogen this, you had something, there's deer eating it.
Yep.
Or the old days. Remember when people used to come and knock down your corn and then plant like marijuana in the field?
Yeah.
And then you'd see the picture.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
No, yeah. And that's not corn in that little square over there. So the drones are a big part of it. Upstairs, there was a drone that was as big as this thing. And so that's what AI, if you understand facial recognition, which you do, you have an iPhone, AI is going to do that to your crops.
Right.
But as far as picking up the phone and calling Co-Alliance, I don't see it yet.
You don't see that happen?
Not yet. No.
Interesting. You know, and right now it feels like the markets are being dominated by the supply side of the market. We've got to stay focused on the fact that, we're dealing with supply, but let's watch the demand start to develop and come on, right?
Yeah. One of the farmers asked me, he said, we have too much. Why aren't people buying it from us? Or they're buying from other countries. That we're number 2 in corn. We're number 2 in Brazil, or we're number 2 in corn and beans. Thank you.
Yep.
I say, there's one thing about America I know is if you call America and you call the P&W and say, I want to buy 2 boats, we get them, we load them, the quality's high, and we get them back to you in time.
Yep.
And so we are still the number 1 quick ship provider in the world. Now, we've had some problems with the Mississippi River, and you and I can't fix that. We've had these little gentle black swans where we're coming into a delivery of no beans and the Mississippi River's closed, right?
Yeah.
And it whacks things out. But we can ship grain really fast, really high quality grain.
Yeah.
I don't like saying that America's number 2. Do you?
No, not at all when it comes to quality grain. And I'm told that our foreign customers are concerned about it, and there's a plenty of demand for the U.S. beans because of the sustainability issues. You know, they don't. Yeah, you're not going to get that out of Brazil because of the land use issues. But out of the U.S., if you're worried about sustainability, that's where you're going to come for the beans. Tommy, great to see you.
Thanks, Chip.
All right, buddy. That's Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading and Ag Bull Media. When we come back, we're going to learn about what's going on at BASF.
If the world is your oyster, we've got pearls of wisdom on AgriTalk.
And welcome back to AgriTalk. I'm your host, Chip Flory. We are live at Commodity Classic in Houston, Texas. Big thank you to BASF for making our coverage possible here this afternoon. With that in mind, let's go ahead and make time for this industry spotlight. Scott Kay is the Vice President, U.S. Agricultural Solutions at BASF. Scott, it's great to talk with you again. How are you?
Good. How are you, Chip?
Good. How was Commodity Classic?
Man, it's been great. I think the weather here in Houston's been pretty good, and big crowds. I think I heard today like 11,500 or some number like that.
Yeah, some ridiculous number. It's a record number of attendees, I believe.
Yeah, so I think traffic here at our booth's been pretty phenomenal.
What's the question? What do farmers want to know about?
You know, I think they want to know what they've always wanted to know about it. This one, I think you get farmers here that are always thinking about what am I going to do new, different to raise the bar on my own farm. So they're talking about different ways that we have for BASF to think about what innovations are coming to solve for resistant weeds, as an example. You know, so I think there's 3 things farmers are worried about for resistant weeds, and or resistance in general is SCN.
Yeah.
In my soybean crop, you know, the first question is, have you tested? And that's a yes or no to me about testing. And but we found most farmers who do test they see that economic
Sure.
threshold and say, oh my gosh, how come I haven't been doing something? And for us, it's a two-pronged discussion. Say, yep, use a Levo now to help solve for that. But then two, and by 2028, we're going to have a trait for that.
Right.
And so farmers going to be able to buy Zetavo beans with an SCN trait built in to help with the problem.
Right. One thing about farmers in the relationship with BASF is it is a season-long relationship, isn't it? From start to finish, from the time that bag opens up and until it's harvested, BASF is involved.
Yeah, we really are. And I think it's not just our beans that we're worried about. I think we want to talk to them about their whole farm and the whole acre. And so, managing weed resistance, Mother Nature hasn't given up. I think we all know that.
Right.
And so talk about water hemp. I think everybody wants to say, well, that's a soybean problem. I kind of laugh when they say that and go, I think maybe that started in your corn, and then we've just started the discussion. And so at BSF, the great thing is we have two new solutions that we hope to get registered this summer. And that's Liberty Ultra, which is going to be the best Liberty formulation they've ever had. I think it'll change their perspective about how it works and how much better it's going to work. And they'll carry less volume around on their spray rigs. And then the other solution we're going to have is Certain for corn. And so a lot of guys say, I don't like going in late on my corn and spraying. I bet we could take a survey just walking down the hall here at Commodity Classic, and they'd all agree. I like to spray early and then not go back in there. This is what that product's going to do. It's going to give them longer residual on those resistant weeds like water hemp through the whole season.
Yeah. Consistency and some almost insurance on the production side of things, Scott. I think that's what producers are looking for from BASF. They want to know that the products that they are putting on from BASF are going to take some of the concerns out of the volatility and the weather that we're dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for our fungicides, I think that's one other. We probably have kept a secret from farmers. So, and I know that they don't like that, but we have over 1,200 trials of head-to-head farmer-done trials.
Okay.
Over the last few years of our new innovations, Veltima and Revitec, versus ours are the farmer's number one competitor.
Mm-hmm.
And we have those side by side. On average, we beat them by 9.5 bushels.
Wow.
But farmers might get confused and say, well, how consistent is it? Well, what we hear from farmers is they want the most consistent fungicide and the highest yielding fungicide.
Yep.
And they want those together, that to be one product. And so that's what we're going to give them.
Well, I remember from the conversation that we had in Kansas City at Top Producer Summit was your belief is that they got to be ordering fungicide by name in 2024.
Yes, I think our goal is to educate. So we're going to share that for every state, and we're going to provide that revxfields.com. But for every state, they're going to get to see what their yield would be. So maybe in Iowa, it's 10 bushels. And so I think we're going to share that. But yeah, farmers shouldn't buy fungicides, just like they don't buy tractors. Yeah. Right. You buy a brand, and I think farmers would stay by name. I want Veltima or I want Revitec. In the South, man, we've got a great new solution for them in the South. They have the longest disease season of any corn, soybean grower. They need to be using our new product, Revilock.
Yep. Talk to me about the dollars invested in research development at BASF.
Well, every day your listeners wake up, BASF is investing $3 million. Put another way, every dollar they spend that BASF takes in as a profit, then we turn 11 cents of that dollar into research and development and agriculture. So pretty heavy investment. We and what do they get for that? Well, this year we're going to have, between now and the next 5 years, we'll have 25 new products that we'll launch. So the investment pipeline is rich, and we have plans to solve problems that are a problem today, like those resistant weeds we just talked about, or things in the future.
Yep. Talk to me just a little bit more about what's in that pipeline. I mean, we've covered a little bit of it, but 30 new innovations coming to the markets in the next 5 years. That's crazy.
We thank goodness we have marketing staffs and great salespeople in the field and great agronomists. But one of the things too we're trying to do is that might seem a lot for farmers to undertake too. So this week right here at Commodity Classic, we launched two new technologies that I think are going to help a lot, and that's sense making. So we have a placement tool, because when you purchase the bag, what's the first two things you got to get right? You got to get the variety selection
Yep.
and the placement.
Right.
And if you can do that, then you can do it. But corn growers, they could give you a 20-year history of how they select a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
Bean growers, they might say, well, I just want to pick the best one.
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is have bean growers start thinking about growing beans the way they do their corn. And so what BSF's willing to do is we're going to share our 20 years of history and our thousands of trials that we do every year, and a tool that consolidates that knowledge for the soybean grower quickly. And I think you just heard me say we aren't going to be saying whose data is whose. We aren't going to get in an argument with the grower about their data. BSF's going to share our data with the grower to make decisions.
Cool. Very cool. Don't keep it a secret.
Not going to keep it a secret. All right. Thank you.
Good stuff, Scott. Thank you so much. That's Scott Kay, Vice President, U.S. Agricultural Solutions at BASF. Davis, that wraps it up. Our coverage from Commodity Classic 2024 is done. Big thank you to all the sponsors, including BASF. Monday morning, you know what it is. We got Machinery Pete, and we're going to get a farm bill update from Senator Jerry Moran from Kansas right here on AgriTalk.